Welcome back to Corner Office Thrillers, where the polished corridors of power conceal poisons more lethal than any venom. Today, we plunge into the steamy Hajj of Chennai, envision Marina Beach at dawn, waves crashing against the shore like unspoken secrets, while the city's pharma hubs in Guindi and Ambattur hum with the alchemy of modern medicine. The air thick with the scent of idli sambar from roadside stalls, honking autorickshaws ferrying lab-coated dreams amid the relentless tropical heat. In this world, formulas aren't just recipes, they're lifelines, fortunes, and sometimes, instruments of exquisite downfall. This is the story of a pharma empire built on breakthroughs until one vanished like mist over the Bay of Bengal. I call it the venomous vial. Our narrative centers on the executive, a relentless researcher in his early 40s rooted in a traditional Tamil family from Madurai but now a titan in Chennai's biotech scene. He'd risen through the ranks at Vita, a sprawling complex in Perungudi, developing drugs that tackled everything from tropical diseases to chronic ailments. His lab was his sanctuary, sterile white walls echoing with the whir of centrifuges, shelves lined with vials glowing under fluorescent lights, overlooking the IT corridors where his innovations funded lavish expansions. Every compound he crafted was a battle won against illness, against doubt, against the ghosts of his father's failed clinic back home. The rival was his shadow counterpart, Vitafarm's ambitious VP of R&D, a cunning operator in his late 30s with a flair for boardroom maneuvers and a wardrobe of crisp linen shirts that belied his ruthless edge. They'd collaborated for years, sharing late-night filter coffee sessions in the canteen, debating molecular structures over plates of pongal. The rival handled the patents, the investor pitches at tidal park events, while the executive delved into the science. Together, they'd propelled Vitafarm to a 3,000 crore valuation, the darling of BSE listings. But ambition festers like an untreated infection. It began subtly in mid-2025. The executive had poured 3 years into SeruVita, a revolutionary serum targeting antibiotic-resistant superbugs, blending ancient Ayurvedic herbs with cutting-edge nanotechnology. It promised to save millions in India's overcrowded hospitals, where infections raged like wildfires. Tests showed 98% efficacy, patents pending. The executive guarded it fiercely, storing prototypes in a biometric-locked fridge in his corner lab, the door humming softly like a watchful sentinel. One monsoon evening, as rain hammered the tin roofs and flooded the streets outside, the executive returned from a conference in Coimbatore. His lab felt off, a drawer slightly ajar, the air carrying a faint whiff of unfamiliar aftershave. He checked the fridge. The primary vial was gone. Not shattered or spilled, surgically extracted, logs showing no unauthorized access. Panic surged, cold as fluid. He reviewed CCTV. Grainy footage of a shadow slipping in during a power flicker, face obscured by a surgical mask. But the build, the gate, it screamed the rival. Confrontation brewed over the next days. The executive cornered him in the executive lounge, the aroma of fresh dosa masking the tension. "Where is it?" he demanded, voice low but laced with fury. The rival feigned shock, his eyes darting like a cornered rat. "Formula? Must be a mix-up. Lab techs are sloppy." But the denial rang hollow. Digging deeper that night, alone in his Basant Nagar flat with the sea breeze rattling windows, the executive hacked into shared servers, easy with his admin privileges. Emails surfaced. The rival pitching SeruVita's core tech to a Mumbai-based competitor, Nova Bio, for a 7-figure consultancy fee. Betrayal confirmed, hot as Chennai's midday sun. Fury ignited, but the executive didn't rush to HR or the police. In India's pharma wars, where IP theft lurks like malaria in the shadows, lawsuits drag like monsoons and often favor the deep-pocketed. No, he craved revenge, not blunt force, but a serum of his own design, insidious and irreversible, seeping into the thief's veins without a trace. He'd brew a remedy deadlier than any drug, turning the stolen formula against its taker in a symphony of calculated ruin. He began in secrecy, working after hours when the lab emptied, the only light from his screen casting airy shadows. Phase 1, replication with a twist. He recreated SeruVita but embedded a Trojan, nanoscale particles that, upon activation, would trigger subtle side effects, chronic fatigue, memory lapses, hallucinations mimicking corporate burnout. Harmless at first glance, but devastating for a high-stakes executive. He leaked hints of a breakthrough enhancement through anonymous forums on farmindia.net, baiting the rival to steal again. The trap snapped shut weeks later. Another theft. This time, the altered vial vanished. The executive tracked it via a hidden GPS nanoparticle, leading straight to Novabio's labs in Navi Mumbai. Satisfaction bloomed, dark and thorny. But he waited, patient as a venomous cret coiled in the underbrush. Reports trickled in. Novabio fast-tracked the serum, rebranding it NovaShield, rushing trials amid hype from Economic Times articles. The rival jumped ship, announced as Novabio's new CTO with a splashy presser at a 5-star in Bandra. As the serum hit phase 2 trials, the executive monitored from afar, his phone alerts pinging like a heartbeat. Subtle anomalies emerged, test subjects reporting odd dreams, executives at Novabio whispering of the rival's erratic behavior. The executive savored it, each glitch a drop of vengeance, imagining the rival's confusion as memories fogged, deals slipped through fingers like wet sand. Revenge wasn't just payback. It was art, a molecular masterpiece etching regret into the thief's very cells. But as the monsoon gave way to clearer skies, unease crept in. The executive noticed discrepancies in his own logs, access times he didn't recall, formulas tweaked without his input. One night, returning home to the center sea salt and frying vadai from street vendors, he found his flat ransacked. Not robbed, searched, drawers appended like a surgical incision. His backup drives? Gone. Heart racing, he pieced it together. This wasn't just theft. It was a counterplay. The rival hadn't stolen blindly. He'd planted a mole. Enter the assistant, a young biochemist from IIT Madras, handpicked by the executive months earlier for her sharp mind and unassuming demeanor. She'd assisted on SeruVita, always eager, staying late with cups of brew coffee in hand. But now, suspicions mounted. A quick background check via a discreet PI in Anna Nagar revealed ties. Her uncle was Novabio's board member. She'd been the shadow on CCTV, the inside hand feeding data. Betrayal led upon betrayal, the executive's trust shattering like a dropped vial. Rage evolved into paranoia. He confronted her in the lab's sterile confines, doors locked, the hum of equipment amplifying the silence. "Why?" he demanded, his voice echoing off metal cabinets. She didn't flinch. "Survival," she replied coolly. The rival offered equity. Vita Farm's sinking, your serum was the lifeboat. But her eyes held something more, not guilt, but calculation. She slipped him a flash drive. "Proof. It's bigger than you think." The drive unveiled a labyrinth. Novabio wasn't just a rival. It was a front for a shadowy consortium, backed by foreign investors funneling black market drugs through Chennai ports. The rival? A pawn, coerced by threats to his family in Trichy. SeruVita's theft was ordered from above to weaponize it against epidemics or wars, as a bioweapon in corporate espionage wars. The executive's creation, meant for healing, twisted into something monstrous. Shockwaves rippled through him, the thriller of his life unfolding in code and compounds. But vengeance adapted. He didn't expose them outright, too risky, with enforcers lurking in Chennai's underbelly. Instead, he amplified the Trojan. Using the assistant's access, now turned ally, or so she claimed, he infiltrated Novabio's production line remotely, embedding a secondary trigger. Exposure to common antibiotics would cascade the side effects into full-blown delirium, traceable back to manufacturing flaws. Creative? Diabolical. He'd poisoned their success from within, watching empires convulse. Launch day arrived, a NovaShield hailed as India's pharma miracle, stock soaring on Dalal Street. The rival beamed at the Mumbai event, toasting with champagne. But whispers spread, trial patients hallucinating, executives crumbling under stress. The rival himself faltered in interviews, words slurring like a bad reaction. Regulators swooped in, SCBI probes launched. Novabio's valuation plummeted, investors fleeing like monsoon runoff. The executive watched from his lab, satisfaction coiling tight. But late one night, as thunder rumbled over the city, his phone rang, unknown number. You think you've won. The voice was distorted, mechanical. Check your blood work. Dread iced his veins. Recent fatigue, foggy thoughts, symptoms he'd dismissed as stress. A quick self-test confirmed. He'd been dosed with his own Trojan, likely via spiked coffee from the assistant. The revelation crashed like waves on Marina. The assistant wasn't turned, she was the mastermind. Often young, she'd risen through grit, but harbored resentment against Vitafarm for burying her father's patent years ago. She'd orchestrated everything, the initial theft to pit executive against rival, the consortium expose as misdirection, dosing him to experience his own poison. Her revenge? Stealing SeruVita clean, patenting it under a shell company in Singapore, leaving both men ruined while she ascended. But the depths plunged further. As the executive raced to his lab, sirens wailing in the distance, he uncovered the unimaginable core. SeruVita wasn't inert. The nanotech had evolved self-replicating, sentient in a way, adapting to hosts. In the rival, it induced madness. In him, clarity. Hallucinations weren't side effects. They were visions, the formula, whispering truths. The assistant? Not human. A bioengineered operative from a government black ops program in Hyderabad, designed to infiltrate pharma firms and secure tech for national security. The theft was state-sanctioned, the consortium a facade. In a frenzy, he brewed an antidote, but it was too late. The formula had bonded, granting him unnatural insight, predicting moves, seeing betrayals before they struck. Revenge transcended. He didn't destroy her, he absorbed the tech, becoming the ultimate corporate predator. From the shadows, he leaked altered formulas to rivals, sparking a chain reaction of failures across the industry. Nova Bio collapsed, the rival institutionalized, the assistant vanishing into bureaucracy's maze. Yet, in his Basant Nagar flat, staring at the sea, the executive wondered, was this victory or curse? The serum pulsed in his blood, whispering of greater games. He'd avenged the theft by becoming the thief of power, of fate itself. Creative revenge, indeed. A remedy that healed nothing but poisoned everything in its path. In Chennai's pharma labyrinths, they say some formulas change the world. Others change you. And that's our pulse-pounding thriller today. If this brew of betrayal left you craving more, subscribe for another dose from the dark heart of corporate India. Next time, a Kolkata finance whiz who uncovered cooked books and cooked up a scandal that balanced the ledger in blood red ink. This is Corner Office Thrillers, where cures can kill.